Sills National Football Show. Appreciate you coming aboard here. We cover everything, as you know. Before I bring in Angelo Cataldi, can we do one last thing before we bring Angelo on? Can we show the picture of Travis Bickle from the movie Taxi one more time? There he is. Look at him right there. That's the guy that was stalking Jodie Foster right there. Look at this guy here. Then he has the audacity to tell the Eagle fans to go after themselves. Hey, that's probably talking to Michael Irvin this morning. He's like, hey, Sills, did really the head coach? I go, hey, Mike, I know they threw batteries at you and all when you were injured, almost broke your neck. But the coach, the only reason I think he got out of South Philly was because, well, he's a paisan and he's the head coach of the Eagles. Other than that, how in the world? That would have made a great chapter for Angelo. And how, oh my God, can you imagine Angelo Cataldi in the morning at WIP? This is why we're grateful to have him here. When that guy did that, that team was not prepared to play. By the way, the Browns were who they were. They averaged 16 points a game, 18 points a game. That's kind of what they were. They weren't ready. And what they're worried about now is this guy's a punchline across the country now. He should be fired. He's a cancer. It's the same team as 23. Okay, enough of my crap. You've heard me already. Here it is. Okay? By the way, I want to know how to get under someone's skin. Page 91. You want to do it again? Okay? 155. Finally a championship. Okay? And hey, guess what? He talks about a championship, and then Nick doesn't want to do the final day that he's there. Well, he's here now with us. Legend himself, Angelo Cataldi, joins us. Holy cow, Angelo.
Wow. I thought it was the best day of the season so far for the Eagles. Honestly, they won the game, which they had to do to remain relevant in Philadelphia. And the clown that coaches them took one giant step closer to the unemployment line. Let me tell you, you think that played well upstairs? How do you think that played with Lurie and Roseman?
You tell me.
Guys were going, this is what we need. We need a guy who has basically failed the city for the last 12 games, and we need him to start lecturing the Philadelphia sports fans on negativity. Oh, yeah, that'll definitely stir up a good feeling in the city. The guy is persona non grata today. Welcome aboard, Philadelphia. I've been telling you for 3 years the guy's a fraud. Now you saw it perfectly for yourself right in front of everybody. There is nothing a man can do to commit career suicide in Philadelphia faster than tell the fans, don't boo us, even when we suck. Don't boo us. You're hurting our chance. No, you're not. You're not hurting squat. We have won championships after booing our teams. We are just testing the mettle of those teams and their coach. And he flunked. He couldn't have flunked worse.
Angelo, he apologized today. Do you believe that came from the owner?
Oh, yes. I just followed after the game, he wasn't apologizing. No, I'm having fun. I'm having a good time. He didn't apologize on my old show this morning. He didn't apologize then. Apologize later in the day. Gee, what could have changed this
fallout
to where he went from, no, it's just a fun day at the old ball orchard, to, oh, you know what? I let my passion get the better of me. Somebody talk to him. Of course. They called him in and went, Nick, didn't we talk about this after the season? Didn't we say we don't want this stuff on the sideline? Because Lurie's on the record. The owner of the team is on the record. I don't want this stuff. I think it becomes counterproductive. That was his quote. This guy then comes out with a new narrative after the bye week. Oh, my players talked to me, and they made me to look like a horse's ass on the sideline during a game. Well, let me tell you something. I believe Hurts might have told him that. You know why? It'll get rid of the coach faster, and he'll get a coach in that knows what he's doing. Oh, Never has a team won a game and created a bigger hornet's nest than they have in Philadelphia with Nick Sirianni in his bizarre, ridiculous, self-defeating behavior.
How about this, Angelo? Tell me if you go down this line. I thought the moment of the game where I said that Jalen Hurts did not want that coach or that offensive coordinator or the organization or the analytics people to be involved in the final play of the game and in the final outcome of that game is when he audibled out of that last play, giving them no autonomy and letting AJ go up and make the play. To me, Angelo, I read it like this. I'm not giving you a chance to cost us a game. I'm not giving you a chance to screw up on an offensive play or kicking field goals. We're going to end this now. And that was the first time I saw that quarterback do something like that. Do you agree he took it out of the hands of the coaching staff?
He had called that play before. I think it was in the Seattle game, and it didn't work. He has done that before. Oh, I don't think there's any question. He was saying, I'm going to put this game away right now by myself with my favorite target. And God bless him. That was a great pass and an even more spectacular catch. All right. But I was watching the game with two of the greatest Eagle fans alive, Arsenani and Eagle Shirley. They were both at my house watching the game. And when the ball left his hand, Arsenani jumps up, and he's not in great shape right now. He jumps up and he goes, no. Oh, okay. Okay. Yes. But seriously, that would have given Cleveland another 40 seconds if that play had gone on incomplete. And with the Eagles defense, even against that awful Browns offense, pitiful Browns offense, I wouldn't have been sure the Eagles were going to hold on because they've blown games like that before.
Absolutely.
But without a doubt, that was Hurts. Hurts wants nothing to do with Sirianni. Do you understand that? If that isn't clear to people, the body language, the what he's saying, read between the lines kind of thing. He can't stand the guy, but that's okay because now the whole city agrees with him. No one likes Sirianni in Philadelphia today. No one.
How about this, Angelo? Bob, somebody just posed this question. If that situation had played out at the vet versus the link, what is that environment? How would that event and how would that environment have changed with Sirianni acting like that at the vet versus the Lincoln Financial?
This is the irony of the situation that Sirianni is bitching about the atmosphere at the Link. He has no sense for what the atmosphere was like at Veterans Stadium. All right. The top level, the 700 level, was populated by many people who had either escaped from mental institutions or are en route there. Do you understand? I went up there early in my tenure at WIP, and I sat up there for a game, right? I saw fist fights. I saw a torch man, a guy with sparks flying out of his hands, doing insane stuff, booing and yelling and screaming. And that was during the win. He has no idea how soft people are today. They function. You said you had Michael Irvin out. Michael Irvin's career ended on the carpet at Veterans Stadium, and the people were cheering when he was down. They couldn't. The man was in agony. His great career over, and they're going, "Yeah, I got off the field. You suck, Irvin." Yes, Sirianni has no idea. He was in grade school when that was happening, right? And now he's bitching because they booed him when it was 10-10 at the half.
They started a chant, "Fire Sirianni."
Yeah, they need to do that chant. That is Philadelphia sports fans using their freedom of speech to exercise their passion. And that man, the audacity, the sheer audacity for a hack like Nick Sirianni to tell these fans how to act is laughable. But it gives me great, great comfort and knowing this is his last year. Oh no, this is his last year. As of today, he is now a lame duck in Philadelphia. He will be fired, if not before the end of the year. You made a good point. What a perfect week to do it. Just go, look, we gave him the bye. He came back. They weren't ready to play. They looked like snap. He acted like a fool on the sideline. He got into it with our fans. He tried to start a fight with one of the players on the Browns. He was a maniac. He was a nut. But the one thing he wasn't doing was coaching well. They were not well coached.
They were not prepared. They were not prepared at all. Do you think he survives the year?
Well, if he does that again and a loss, no. Because I know what I know this.
So do you think the owner and the GM are starting to separate themselves from this guy?
100%.
Wow.
They told him to apologize for what he did. That is bad for business. Telling Philadelphia sports fans when they can boo is bad for business. I did 33 years on the air here, and I never once saw a coach or a manager or a player, and many of them did it, who went out and did that and survived for very long afterwards. You don't make it here. You will be hated instantly. And then to lie about it. Danny lied.
How about to bring his kids?
No.
How about to bring his kids up there too, so you wouldn't ask questions?
He lied for 18 hours, and then he had to come out and apologize. He could look like a bigger dummy, but he is a dummy. Is this the method I've been trying to put on your child? He is not a smart man. He is not a good coach. He is not. He was propped up by Shane Steichen for 2 years. Through a series of miracles, they made it to the Super Bowl. And now you're seeing Nick Sirianni's influence on this organization. And it won't last a lot longer. Maybe the rest of the year, maybe a little earlier if they go bad, which is still very possible.
Have you ever seen a guy with a win get just crippled like this before in your life? Have you? I mean, Angelo, they stumbled around against the crappiest offensive football team. I mean, and I told everyone, take the Browns and the points. Right. I go, they're not going to score a ton of points coming out of this because they're not going to be prepared. I don't care if AJ or Devontae are on the field. They're not going to be prepared coaching wise. I mean, I look at it. Have you ever seen a coach killed like this before after a win?
Look, the day I arrived in Philadelphia from little old Providence, Rhode Island, 1983. It's a true story, Dan. I get here and I'm scared. I'm nervous. I'm going to Philadelphia. I'm going to work at the Philadelphia Inquirer. And I walk into the office and I'm meeting with the assistant editor there, assistant sports editor. And all of a sudden, all hell breaks loose. And they go, we're going to have to get back to you. We got a huge story. The Phillies just fired their manager. And I went, what? Pecorellas? They fired him? Wait a minute. Aren't the Phillies in first place? Yeah, they fired Pat Corrales as the manager of the Phillies when they were in first place in, I would say June, maybe July. That was the day I got to Philly. And I went, all right, this is a hardcore town. Being in first place isn't enough. They fired. And I went, this city is not going to suffer fools. Now, they suffer a lot more fools now than they did in the mid-'80s, all right? But this guy's next level fool. This guy is such a babbling moron that there's not a way in earth he's going to survive beyond this season. What he did yesterday, he should have just doused himself in gasoline and lit a match. It would have been quicker.
Angelo, do you think this team is a Super Bowl contender?
Oh, hell no. Look.
I think it's going to get worse. I think it's getting worse.
On offense, they have the weapons to be a Super Bowl caliber team. They have two terrific wide receivers. They've got a quarterback when coached properly can take you there. He proved it 2 years ago. They've got now an elite running back who also is a good blocker in the backfield. They got burned once yesterday. But they have the ingredients there to still contend for that kind of thing. Defensively, I don't see it. Even though they were able to stop the Browns, but the Browns are so bad they stopped themselves.
Yeah, but Angelo, you know what? The Browns hit. I brought this up to everyone. I go, well, the Browns averaged 150 yards throwing the ball. They got 144. Yeah. They averaged 16, 18 points. They got 16 points. It wasn't like that defense did anything special. I thought that was a game of fool's gold for the defense because the Browns are so incompetent.
The problem with the defense is they simply do not know how to get turnovers at all. And I'm watching other teams do it, and they're doing it great, right? The Ravens. I'm seeing teams punching the balls right out.
The Bucks.
God, the Bucks. They're just punching the ball. They're trained to get the turnovers. There's none of that in Philadelphia. There's none of it. There's the best player on the Eagles defense is 36 years old.
He is.
Brandon Graham. Let me tell you something. Take away the play. I went back and watched that play where he got the guy 5 yards behind the line. Huge play in the game. These guys are about to score and tie the game. And it's late in the game, and he sees something before the snap, and he points to the guy getting the ball. He goes, him. He's got him. Then they snap the ball. He goes right by and waits for the guy to come to him at the spot he knew he was going to be. He is a brilliant, smart defensive player, making up for the fact he's been doing it for 16 years by understanding what's happening before it's happened. He's the best player on defense.
How about this, Angelo? How about him getting his 200th game as an Eagle, too?
Amazing.
History of the franchise. No one's ever done that. His place, in your opinion, with the Eagles and all the great players that you've seen. I mean, 200 games, that is quite an accomplishment. I can't tell you how many players have played 200 games in the NFL, let alone for one team.
He is, and it was my privilege to get to talk to him for years. We used to do it on Wednesdays or Tuesdays after every game. He's also an honest guy who has embraced the community. Look, the minute he stripped Tom Brady in the Super Bowl 52, he became an icon in the town like very, very few will ever make. So he's already in every Hall of Fame this city's ever had, right? But what he's doing now, 6 years later, is incredible.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I thought 2 years ago he didn't have very good numbers. It's probably enough. They brought him back because he's such a great ambassador, and he started playing better. He played better last year than he did 2 years ago, and he played even better so far this year than he has, and they needed it. There's no leadership there. Cox is gone. Who's there? I mean, I guess the new safety, Barkley, who was there and left and came back, he's okay, but no, the best player on defense is Brandon Graham at 36.
Couple last questions here for you, Angelo. Angelo, I keep having people tell me this all the time. Stop bringing up 23. How come when I see 2024, it looks exactly like 23, and the only common denominator is the coach? How much play calling do you think that he is still involved with? Because to me, don't we see the same inconsistency at times out there when it comes to the play calling? I mean, to me, it just looks like Kellen Moore and Brian Johnson are the same guy. It's the same problems over and over. Am I overthinking that, or do you see it a little bit?
That's the most intriguing part of this right now, because this is the kind of weasel Nick Sirianni is, right? Now he's acknowledging plays he called that didn't work to throw people off the scent.
Even defensive plays.
So now he's pointing out, oh yeah, that play, that was mine. That play was mine. That was mine. I take responsibility for that. But you don't know. He is not giving you any sense for how involved he is. He's only occasionally pointing out a play call that went awry that was his. This is the problem. He has never had any respect for the fans. You understand? Those news conferences, they're a complete waste of time. The only thing he's doing in the news conferences is telling you what he thinks you want to hear. Never does he concern himself but actually giving you any insight into what you saw. The design, the plan of having those news conferences is to explain to the fans what they saw so they'll understand better why they did that play when they did it. Why did they kick the ball when they could have gone for it? That kind of stuff. He won't ever. I did 3 years with the guy. He will never give you the actual answer. He will answer the question that whatever he and the PR people think will put them in the best light. I prefer a Doug Peterson, although he's getting close to getting fired himself.
Right.
He answered the questions honestly. Every day for 5 years, he won a Super Bowl. And the Eagles showed their fans how important it was to be honest by cutting his throat when he wanted his own assistance. They don't care about honesty either. And that's the problem. But whatever he's doing, I'm going to assume now every awful play call is Sirianni's because he told me they are. So I'll just assume it. Good. Get out of here quicker. The sooner you leave, the better, Nick. Nick, leave. Get out. I got a job for you. My little kids are going to need a clown at their next birthday party. I'll bring you in.
Yeah.
4 and 6. They're perfect for you.
Hey, Angelo, what will be the next sign that the owner and the GM are distancing themselves more? Well, because obviously you think that they probably have a system on how they do things and how they want perception. Well, how will there be a sign that we'll see? Because the apology, I'm with you. I think that's the first step of them going like this. Hey, look here, guy. They're saying you need to stop this now, or guess what? This tidal wave is going to take you out to sea. Is there another one coming? Is there some other thing to look for?
Sign? I'll give you a perfect sign for 6 days from now. All right. They'll be up at the Meadowlands. See if he does the dog and pony show next week on the sideline. You want to bet he doesn't?
Oh, there's no way.
He's back to that the clamor from the players for him to be emotional and act like a jackass on the sideline. You think that's going to continue next week?
What if we lose up there?
He was told today to knock it off. Right? That's why he apologized. He won't be doing that next week up in the Meadowlands, and he won't be doing it the next time they played here. And if they lose in the Meadowlands, I don't know. The Giants are awful too. My God. Talk about finding awful offense.
Angelo, the Browns are awful, and they squeeze out.
These teams are no gauge for what you're doing. Yes, I'll acknowledge now I was wrong with 5 wins. I didn't think all these teams that were on the schedule were this awful. I didn't think the Browns couldn't score a touchdown to save their life. The Giants are just as bad. They got 2 weeks where they have to worry about an offense. Those guys are brutal. Plus, Saquon's going back. You got that. You watch closely. Watch Sunday. The demeanor of the head coach of the Eagles on the sideline. He will be back like
Tom Landry.
Like a sphinx. He may even wear a Stetson hat. He'll wear the hat. A stone face. He's not going to do that again. That's how you'll know that they're telling him basically, look, you're hanging by a string here. Don't pull stuff like that. And don't demean Jeff Lurie's a billionaire because of these people. And yesterday, the coach told him, we don't want you to boo. It's hurting our team.
Do you think he's that direct? Do you think he's that direct, Angelo? Hey, don't do that. You're embarrassed.
He is. Because what they did to Doug Peterson on those Tuesdays, they had meetings every Tuesday with Doug Peterson, and they basically told him everything he did wrong. All right. They didn't wait till Tuesday this week. They brought that guy in right after he did his morning stop, and they said, Nick, stop, please. First of all, you're lucky you won. Second of all, don't be doing that. What's going on the sideline there? You made everybody look stupid. Don't do it. We don't need a coach who's out of control. That is not the way you're going to somehow summon up the passion of your team to win a game. It's so mind-numbingly ignorant. It shows you how little he has learned in 3+ seasons coaching in Philadelphia. He's learned nothing.
Or how he's so disconnected from the city.
He's disconnected, and his bosses are disconnected. But he wasn't disconnected yesterday when they were screaming fire Nick and booing his team. See, all of a sudden he went, whoa, No, I better talk to them and stop them. Yeah, we'll listen to you, Nick, for sure. Whatever you say. Maybe you could send out an instruction manual on how the fans should behave in Philadelphia. We need your input.
Man, Angelo,
Wow. What
no shit.
a
I'm with you. I was like, dude, I tell you this. I know this, man. That's a generational city that team. I mean, your father's father are passionate about that team. That's not a place, man. You could say that crap in Carolina. You're not doing that in a place like Buffalo, Philly, Boston, Pittsburgh. You're not doing that in those cities, man. Those people will hang you, man. That's not going to happen like that. And when I saw that, I'm like, that guy just doesn't get that city, man. And for the owners just to let that go 24 hours and then hearing him on WIP, you're like this, dude, please, it's cringy. It's Angelo, would you have shut him down?
No, listen, that is not fair. It took Lurie 24 hours to fix that because I think he was looking into another yacht. I think he's thinking about another yacht.
Angelo, last question for you here. I got to do this, and I've got to kind of drop a bunt on you. How disappointing was this Philly exit from the playoffs compared to the last 6 years? In your opinion, they win the East. They dethroned the Atlanta Braves. How disappointing was this?
There was the worst blow of this era of these really good teams they had.
Wow.
This was the worst. This was worse than the World Series because they made it to the World Series. It was worse than the NLCS last year, even though they blew the last 2 games at home. They didn't even get there this year. And but my disappointment right now is with the media in this town and even some of the fans. Rob Thompson took game 1 of that series and single-handedly blew it. He had a guy throwing a one-hitter who this was Zach Wheeler at his absolute best. He's never been better than he was that day. And he removed him after 7 innings, up 1-0.
Angelo, stop, Angelo. Watch this. I thought of McNamara pulling Clemens in the series in 86 against the Mets. The guy had a one-hitter going. I'm like, what are you doing?
Well, it just shows you stupidity covers many decades because it was stupid. And nobody killed him for it. I wrote a blog post on it. I went on a couple of shows and yelled and screamed like a lunatic. The whole series was flushed in game 1. You will never get a better Wheeler. And Wheeler, and then he doesn't use him in game 4 because he's saving him for game 5. Well, at least he'll be really well rested for spring training next year. The guy is a terrible manager. We have Sirianni and Thompson, and they're both surviving in a city where normally you can't do this and survive. Let's all get together and make some noise, Philadelphia. They both need to leave. My car's warming up in the driveway. I'll drive them out of town. Oh,
Angelo, Angelo, Philadelphia is the only city that looks at your record as a non-starter for anything. You're only as good as the last series and the last game that you coach. Yeah. They don't care about. I've learned that. Get this, like you said, Rob Thompson has a really good record. Sirianni has a really good record. But you look at it and go, they suck. They're not good.
No, let me just say, if Nick Sirianni, he's got a day off tomorrow, goes out to dinner tonight, walks into a local Philadelphia eatery, they'll boo the crap out of him. I know if I were there, I would lead the boo. I would start the boo.
Folks, make sure you get the book. The book is killing it. Also, it's on audio. The blog. Tell the folks where you get it to also.
I got something I got to promote.
Please. It's
next week, a documentary on the Wing Bowl. It's called No One Died, The Wing Bowl Story, is making its premiere at 1412 Chestnut Street. It's next
Tuesday. I've been to one.
You have. You should see this. This documentary is so great.
Tony Bruno invited me to a Wing Bowl, and I went to one at the Spectrum. Does that sound right?
Yeah. Yes.
I did it at the Spectrum.
Right.
There must have been 20,000 fans there.
Yes,
that
there were.
We're at the
This
Spectrum
is the
there.
story of it. How it started, how it ended, and all the crazy stuff in between. You can watch the premiere 8:45 next Tuesday, a week from tomorrow, at 1412 Chestnut Street at 8:45 p.m. For more information, go to Philadelphia.org. Philadelphia.org, or you can get information at AngeloCataldi.com. It is such a great documentary.
Who started it?
It was done by two guys who had done a previous documentary called Billboard Boys. It's done by Frank Petra, and Pat Taggart is the director, and they are brilliant. And it is really awesome.
Who started the Wing Bowl?
Excuse me?
Who started the Wing Bowl?
Who started it? We did in 1992. It was the idea of Al Morganti, my co-host.
Yeah, sure.
And what ultimately happened was Al and Rhea Hughes could not participate in the documentary because WIP did not allow them to. And the WIP is trying to distance themselves from the Wing Bowl. And I am trying through back channels to get them to change their mind about that.
Why would they not want to have and be part of such an iconic event like that? I mean, that was one of the benchmark events in the city for years, and for that station. I mean, you got 20,000 fans to go. I was there for that. I went there to that thing. Dude, anybody in the East Coast knows the Wing Bowl.
Oh, I know it. It's just toward the end. It was known more for the girls taking their tops off and running around in thongs. Look at Dan right now. Dan seems
okay. Wait a minute. Wings, boobs, and girls. I mean, I'm trying to figure out beer, and I'm trying to figure out what we're going wrong and where we're going wrong here.
They didn't like the branding.
Hey, that's right, because Odyssey stock right now is trading at 2 cents. I forgot they're doing well. Hey,
it's a great documentary. Come see it. I'll be there next Tuesday night, 8:45, 1412 on Chestnut Street. You'll love it. Dan,
if there's a website, I'll post it on my Twitter page as well. I know that for whatever reason, I think your wife's the only one in your family that has social media over there on Instagram.
I'm waiting for the next computer to be invented. Then I might do
it. Angelo, thank you, my friend. I always appreciate it. You know how much I love you, man. Thank you, sir.
Goodbye, Sirianni, leave. Get out of here. See you later.
Angelo Cataldi, man. Make sure you guys please hit the like button. You didn't think I've been to a Wing Bowl, huh? I've been to a Wing Bowl. Have you? I have. Yeah, okay, so the chicks were taking their tops off. And it was a lot of girls and beer and wings and fun in Philly. Whew. Snowflake Philly? That's Xander's new crowd, you know? I mean, beer, boobs, and wings. And I'm trying to figure out what is wrong with that. Sorry. I missed it. Hey, we're going to reset. Also, week 6 of the NFL concludes tonight. So we'll hit on that a little bit. I mean, senor, what could possibly be wrong with WIP wanting to associate with an event that they created? That was sensational. Dude, Wing Bowl was awesome. If you've never been, you missed out, because that was one of the great absolute events that you had in that city, man. And it all started because of the first sports talk radio station in America, WIP. Hit the like button. Keep it here. National Football Show.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.